Few of us can go through a day without turning our minds to the situation in Gaza. It's very clear that there are largely two camps of thought on the matter. One side believes that Islam is a dangerous religion, even a death cult, ultimately, where children from a very young age are taught to hate Jews, and indeed any non-Muslims, such as Christians. There's an enormous body of evidence to suggest that violence, extreme violence, is a quintessential component of the Islamic mindset. Being a Muslim means fully believing, living by and obeying the Quran and even its most frightening verses. The concept of taqiyya, for instance, is one example of Muslims being encouraged to lie to infidels and any non-believer to promote the interests of Islam. There is a school of thought that Islam seeks to become the dominant religion in the world, and the way to do it is by infiltrating Western society, building the Muslim populations from within over time by outbreeding the local people. Example, having 3 or 4 or more children compared to the 1 or 2 on average for the existing national or ethnic groups. Once the numbers become sufficient, election to public office and eventually government becomes a foregone conclusion. Sharia law and other Islamic institutions may then follow and can be more readily and easily introduced. The country's fundamental makeup and traditional values are then eroded to the point of potential extinction. Effective conquering of a country, slowly but surely, from within, and without a shot being fired, so to speak. If Islam were truly and convincingly a religion of peace and love, then I don't think Westerners in general would be as concerned as they seem to be about the spread of the religion. Unfortunately, though, there is too much historic and contemporary evidence suggesting that Islam is all about bloodshed, killing, raping, and violent rhetoric. Radicalization of impressionable young people and others in mosques does occur, and this type of behavior differs so much from other religions. We know that priests, pastors, vicars, and men of women and women of the cloth in Christianity do not incite their congregations in a similar way. For all of this, it would be wrong to generalize about Muslims, wouldn't it? I want to believe that there are hundreds of millions of law-abiding, assimilated, non-Quran-obsessed Muslims in the world, whose values and aspirations align with a desire to live harmoniously and productively in their wider communities without any thought of world domination, beheading their infidel neighbours or marrying 9-year-old girls. On the other side of all of this sit the anti-Semites, the Jew haters. Israel is constantly accused of warmongering, constantly wanting to engage in conflict with its Palestinian neighbours by starting or reigniting or continuing the fight. So many times over all our lifetimes in recent decades have we opened newspapers or seen on electronic media the exchange of rockets, the threatening language, the beating of chests, as both sides refuse to back down or compromise in any meaningful way. You're all forgiven for thinking it will never change. It will always be this way. Islam wants rid of the Jews in the Middle East everywhere, in fact, and they'll never stop. Israel will always rise to their feet and fight back, as they have no choice given this type of desire for their demise by their neighbours. There is widespread hatred of the Jews worldwide. It is not something I can understand. I don't know why it is. It utterly perplexes me how masses of people of all ages and ethnicities are openly and proudly anti-Semitic. Millions of people seem to feverishly go out of their way to condemn Israel in every way, shape and form. Jew haters are found in every occupation, every profession, and in every government, for that matter. Sometimes their actions and behaviours are subtle and discreet, other times overt, open, blatant. The noticeable thing about anti-Semites is their single-minded focus on punishing Jews for whatever reason, for any reason, for no reason often, I would say. The anti-Semite is one who will willingly protest and spit tacks about the injustice of Israel's attacks on Gaza and the fictitious genocide, but will remain deathly quiet about the murder, or perhaps better described as bloody genocidal slaughter, of Christians in Nigeria and other African and North African countries by Islamic groups such as Boko Haram. An anti-Semite is as one-eyed, as thoroughly indoctrinated and intractable as many will say an Islamophobe is. Israel and Jews in general have contributed enormously to life as we know it. The list of their accomplishments is extensive, and one might be excused for thinking this is something to be celebrated and for great appreciation to be given. Not at all in the minds of the anti-Semite. Some think the Jews are up to no good and can't be trusted. What have they given the world in recent times? Well, the polio vaccine, the defibrillator, cholera and bubonic plague vaccines, modern psychoanalysis through Sigmund Freud, ballpoint pen, stainless steel. You could go on, it's just endless. What is sad is that in the modern age in which we find ourselves, 2025, the 21st century, we humans still descend to that most basic level of resolving differences, violence, both physical and emotional. Do we dislike, nay, hate others within our human race so much that all we can do is seek to damage, humiliate, kill them to silence their opposition? I don't know. They're serious questions. Leave me totally bewildered.